morning, everyone. Good day. Just woke up in the desert. Been overlanding for the weekend with my dog, Rennie. She's all full and enjoying her life over there after her breakfast and just laying in the sun. And I always take a moment. It's something I struggled with in my 20s and my 30s. And I'm approaching my 40s. In 3-4 weeks, I will be 40 years old. It's been interesting in terms of my participation in the hustle culture. In my 20s, back in my teenage years, even while going to college, I was an RA. I had multiple working internships that weren't paid. I had internships that were paid all at the same time. I think my final semester, I took 21 credits, studied finance and quantitative mathematics. I was a waiter at a restaurant called Bertucci's. I bartended, and during the summer months, I also lifeguarded, and I also lifeguarded during school as well. So, and after all that, I still had to take on college debt. Moving into my 20s, I graduated there in 2008 with a degree in finance and quant. All of my offers for full-time jobs were taken away, and began the hustle culture of my 20s. I ended up working for a university to get tuition reimbursement to go on to my MBA. I ended up traveling as a recruiter for that university for well over half the year, covering multiple states. So began my corporate travel career, I guess is the best way to put it. And of course, I waitered and bartended on the weekends. And then for pretty much my entire 20s, except 1 or 2 years, just because it was hard to find work, I worked 7 days a week and doubles. My 30s, I did exactly the same. And there were some achievements in there. I mean, I paid off my college debt on my own, no help from my parents. I bought my first house with an FHA, no cosigner, down payment was from me. But with all that, and I bought multiple rental properties, Airbnbs. I bought some vacant lots, which I'm holding as long-term holds. But one thing I can say, and I don't know the right answer because we're all in unique times, and I definitely feel Gen Z is going through, I believe, and I'm not Gen Z, I feel bad for them. I think they're going through it harder than anyone's ever had before because the math just doesn't add up, right? And it barely made sense for my equation in life. And arguably this is why I'm talking about this today, because I forced it. I forced the math to make sense for me. If I needed more money, I just worked another shift. I slept less. I didn't take vacations. I think my 20s and my 30s, I may have taken 4 vacations. Now, I've been very fortunate that I've lived in locations like San Diego, Montauk, Long Beach, New York, Puerto Rico. Like, I've always put myself in a place that at the very least I was in a dreamy location, but I was never doing this. I never took a day or 3 to just listen to the silence, read books. It was just always, how can I make more money? How can I try to keep up with the pace of inflation and where America was heading? So with that being said, I'm a huge believer that every individual makes their own luck. And it's hard to see that in the moment, but I do, and I'm guilty of it with my level of frustration. You can make your own luck. It's not easy, and emotionally it's incredibly draining, but You need to keep pushing forward. You can't give up. In these times, I do believe only the people who give the hardest and the greatest effort and achieve results will reap the rewards and the benefits, right? But with that being said, I believe in all of that. I run ultra marathons. I am potentially starting up another business. I work 2 jobs still. With that all being said, I do fear for the level of burnout that millennials and Gen Zs and the generation behind are, and the health implications of the burnout. Being overweight, drinking more, which recent studies are showing that I guess we're drinking less, which is a great thing. But that's all to be said. I want to encourage everyone to take the vacation, take the camping trips, get out into the wild, read 10 pages to a chapter every single night instead of doom scrolling. Watch podcasts like this or people who are motivational and stop at that. Don't start doom scrolling. Like, focus on motivational things that are going to bring you enrichment, that are going to bring you education and overall drive you to a greater purpose, give you the motivation that you need. Get outside more and get the sun. Rescue a dog. My rescue dog's sleeping back there. We just end up sleeping and, solo camping together. It's just been just a joyous experience. Volunteer if you can, but my biggest thing is do not forget in the hustle culture, because it is important to hustle. Do not forget this life on this little tiny rock in the middle of the universe, in the middle of space. It's super short. It's super fleeting. So get the avocado toast, get the coffee, figure your life out, adjust. It is going to look a lot different for the millennials and Gen Z as it did for the boomers and Gen X. Figure out what your life needs to look like. Figure out what you want your life to look like. Be generous to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Do what you think you're capable of. Never set yourself up for failure. And most importantly, love yourself. And give yourself some treats. Just don't forget, life is super, super short. That extra $20,000 in pay for a promotion sometimes ain't worth it. Be creative. We're in times where right now the blueprint or the average roadmap that has been given to us is not working. That's a beautiful time in life. You get to be creative. You get to do something new. And if anyone says, that doesn't make sense, what everyone else was doing doesn't make sense. So love yourself. Enjoy the outdoors. Remember, life is short. It's only once. Don't waste it. Try hard, but don't forget. Enjoy it. So, appreciate you watching. I hope you're loved. I hope you have someone to love. And I hope you feel loved. So, have a great day.